So in continuation, as we have already discussed axilla, now we are going to discuss axillary artery in detail. So this picture also will give you an idea like how we have cut the pectoral region skin and we have exposed the pectoralis major. We cut the pectoralis major. Underneath that you have seen pectoralis minor. Then this is the armpit axilla which contains axillary artery, then axillary vein, and whatever round nodules you are finding here, those are the axillary group of lymph nodes. So now let us try to discuss in detail about the axillary artery. Okay, so this is whatever has been like little stained for you, that is in red color, that is axillary artery. So the objective of this lecture is you should be able to describe axillary artery and its relations. Then we will also see the branches of axillary artery and we will talk about the applied aspects, applied anatomy of the axillary artery. Now if you observe this picture, now see here, this is in the general anatomy of the heart you have studied about aorta. We know it is coming from the left ventricle, turns like arch of aorta, then comes as descending thoracic aorta, right? So from this arch of aorta, we have the brachiocephalic trunk on the right side, whereas on the left side we have directly left common carotid and left subclavian. So whether it is a branch of brachiocephalic trunk or directly coming, you will see the subclavian artery is now continuing as axillary artery. Further continuation of axillary artery, now in the arm it is named as brachial artery. Brachial artery in the cubital fossa, that is in front of the elbow, usually it divides into the radial and ulnar arteries. Now, so now in order to understand, just try to remember axillary artery is the continuation of subclavian artery and it continues as brachial artery. That means it is named in between subclavian and brachial arteries. Now, this picture I have put you just to help you to remember and recollect very easily, like that is from the brachiocephalic trunk of the right side, from the arch of aorta we have right subclavian, then on the left side we have left common carotid and left subclavian. So this subclavian artery only is now continuing as the axillary artery. Now, if you observe this picture, the starting point of the axillary artery is coming from the lateral border of the first rib, or you can also call it as outer border of the first rib, okay, which is actually continuation of subclavian artery. Now if you observe the picture lower down, it is almost moving up to the lower border of teres major muscle. That means the extent is from the outer border of the first rib to the lower border of the teres major, we will have the axillary artery. Okay, then you can see very clearly. Now parts of axillary artery. Once you cut the pectoralis major, now you should have understood the actually the concept of the pectoral region. Now below the pectoralis major we have pectoralis minor. So this pectoralis minor muscle actually divides the axillary artery into three parts. So what are those? From the outer border of the first rib to the upper border of the pectoralis minor, this area is considered as first part of axillary artery. Behind pectoralis minor, whatever part of the artery is there, that is second part of the axillary artery. From the lower border of the pectoralis minor to almost to the lower border of the teres major, whatever part of the axillary artery is there, it is named as third part of axillary artery. So the same thing has been described. Now pectoralis minor muscle crosses in front of the axillary artery and divides the axillary artery into three parts. First part, proximal, that means above the pectoralis minor, that is from the lateral border of the first rib to the upper border of the pectoralis minor. Second part of the artery is behind the pectoralis minor. Third part is like from the lower border of the pectoralis minor to the lower border of the teres major. Okay, this thing is the third part. Now axillary artery, throughout its course, so suppose this is our axillary artery, it is always accompanied by axillary vein. And in the previous lecture when we were discussing axilla, I told you axillary sheath is enclosing these structures, which is nothing but derived from prevertebral layer of deep cervical fascia. It encloses proximal axillary vessels along with this brachial plexus. Yellow in color is brachial plexus. The details of brachial plexus will be dealt in next class. So many parts of the brachial plexus will come over here, so you need not get confused. The formation of brachial plexus and the branches of brachial plexus itself is a separate class. Okay, just you can see, like, because most of the relations of axillary arteries related to brachial plexus, I'll give you a very small concept. See here, these are the cervical vertebrae. Okay, and between the cervical vertebrae the area is actually called as intervertebral foramen. So the intervertebral foramina, you have certain cervical nerves coming. We have C1 to C8. Those are the cervical nerves: C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8. So here you will see C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1, they will be uniting and they are forming a plexus, a network like this, which is actually called as brachial plexus, which will have cords, lateral cord, posterior cord, medial cord, which will be actually closely related to our axillary artery. Okay. Of course, brachial plexus itself is a separate lecture, nothing to worry, because axillary artery is coming first and you will see all around it is surrounded by the brachial plexus. I am giving you a short information. Okay, then. So the prevertebral like layer of the deep cervical fascia, it encloses proximal part of axillary vessels along with brachial plexus. Now let us see each part of the artery we should know the relations. Okay. Now because in axilla I gave you very clear concept of the picture, like suppose what are the various areas we have. Suppose this is our axillary artery and this is our first part. So anteriorly, these are the anterior relations, these are the posterior relations. This is our artery. Okay, and this is medial and this is lateral. So when you observe this picture, the axillary artery is related anteriorly to the skin, superficial fascia, platysma muscle, supraclavicular nerves, deep fascia, pectoralis major. If you observe, if you remember, I told you clavipectoral fascia is pierced by cephalic vein, thoracoacromial artery, lateral pectoral nerve, and this is clavipectoral fascia. So this all forms the anterior relations. Now if you, the picture size is small but the concept is very clear. Relations of first part of axillary artery, it has skin, below which we have superficial fascia, then we have platysma muscle, then these are supraclavicular nerves, then we have deep fascia. This is the deep fascia, then pectoralis major, then this is clavipectoral fascia pierced by cephalic vein, lateral pectoral nerve and thoracoacromial artery. So this forms the anterior relations. Once you know the anterior relations of axillary artery, whatever you see behind, those are the posterior relations. Now in the posterior relation, what are we finding? We are finding the, see, between the first and second rib, whatever space is there, we call it as first intercostal space. Okay. Then first and second digitations of serratus anterior muscle, and the nerve which runs over serratus anterior is long thoracic nerve, which is also called as nerve to serratus anterior. So this forms the posterior relation. Even if you observe this picture, this is also the same picture. So these pictures are designed for your easy drawing during your final exams or internal assessment or part completion exams. Okay, because axillary artery comes as an essay question. No, so this is the second part. Then coming to the lateral relations. So this side, whatever we have is lateral relations. I told you brachial plexus has certain cords. Please remember it has lateral cord, posterior cord and medial cord. Almost everything is related to axillary artery. So laterally, the axillary artery is related to these two cords. What are those? Lateral cord and posterior cord. Medially, throughout its course, this axillary artery is related to axillary vein. Not only that, you are finding this medial pectoral nerve. If you remember, the nerve supply of the pectoral muscle was coming from medial and lateral pectoral nerves. So that nerve is seen here as one of the medial relation of axillary artery. Okay, so this is again first part I put just to make you understand. See, this is our axillary artery, or whatever you are seeing, these are the anterior relations. Behind whatever we see, these are the posterior relations. I hope you understood the first part. Once you first part is extending from where to where? I told you from the outer border of the first rib to the upper border of the pectoralis minor muscle. Now behind pectoralis minor, whatever we have is the second part. So now see here, this is our axillary artery. Whatever structures you find in front, those are anterior relations. More or less same like first part only. Again, you are finding skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, pectoralis major, behind which now we are seeing pectoralis minor. Okay, those are the anterior relations. Now coming to this is our axillary artery, and behind you have the posterior relation. So what is the muscle we find behind? Subscapularis muscle. Not only that, we also see posterior cord of brachial plexus. Okay, then coming to the lateral relations. This side is lateral. So in the lateral side, we are finding lateral cord of brachial plexus, and we are also finding coracobrachialis. Okay, then medially throughout its course, I told you it is related to axillary vein. Okay, and apart from that, we also find medial cord of the brachial plexus, medial pectoral nerve. So if you observe for the second part of the axillary artery, laterally it is related to lateral cord, posteriorly it is related to posterior cord, medially it is related to medial cord of the brachial plexus. That is all about second part of axillary artery. Again, I put one axilla picture here to give you a disposition. This is the apex region, this is the outer border of the first rib. Okay, like in the apex region, if you remember, we had clavicle, upper border of the scapula and all, isn't it? So this is the lateral side we have. So if you see the contents, see this is anterior, you are finding, isn't it? So pectoralis major and minor. Then posterior of boundary of axilla where you have the subscapularis. Medially we have serratus anterior upper four ribs if you remember long thoracic nerve. Laterally it is formed by the convergence of the anterior and posterior walls. No? Okay, that is. So as contents you are finding axillary artery, axillary vein and these cords of brachial plexus. Okay, and of course the lymph nodes which are not shown here. Now coming to the third part. Third part is extending from the lower border of the pectoralis minor to the lower border of the teres major muscle. So that part is the third part. So third part, the anterior relations are again skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, pectoralis major and medial root of median nerve. Okay, then coming to the posterior relation, exclusively also you can see this is our axillary artery, these are anterior relations, this is axillary artery, posterior are subscapularis, teres major, latissimus dorsi. Okay, lateral relations are lateral root of median nerve, musculocutaneous nerve and coracobrachialis. Medially, we are finding the axillary vein, medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, ulnar nerve. Posteriorly, here we also see radial nerve and axillary nerve. So same thing is texted. If you understand this picture, this is our artery, anterior, posterior, medial and lateral relation. Same thing is texted here. You can read for yourself. Pause the video and try to read and read many times. It becomes easy for you to remember. So posterior relation, subscapularis, latissimus dorsi, teres major. We also have axillary nerve and radial nerve. Okay. Laterally, lateral root of median nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, coracobrachialis, short head of biceps and the humerus. Okay. Medially, throughout we have axillary vein, then medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, okay, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, then we have ulnar nerve. Okay, so that is all about the axillary artery relations. So this is our axillary artery, and these are the cords of the brachial plexus. Medially it is related to axillary vein. Pectoralis minor is the landmark which divides the course of artery into first, second and third parts. Right? Now, coming to the branches of axillary artery, see here. We know like the artery has been divided into how many parts? Three parts, isn't it? So the subclavian artery is now continuing as axillary artery. The first part is from the outer border of the first rib to the upper border of the pectoralis minor. So first part gives only one branch. Second part is giving two branches which is seen behind the pectoralis minor. Third part is extending from the lower border of the pectoralis minor to the lower border of the teres major. This is the third part which gives three branches. In simple language, first part, one branch. Second part, two branches it gives. Third part of axillary artery gives three branches. We will name them now. So we know axillary artery is a continuation of which artery? Subclavian artery. And axillary artery is continuing as which artery? Brachial artery. So axillary artery is shown in red color for our easy understanding. Okay. Now let us know the names of branches. So first part we get only one artery I said, right? So the name of the branch is superior thoracic artery. Second part gives two branches. What are those? Thoracoacromial and lateral thoracic. Third part gives three branches. What are those? Subscapular, anterior circumflex humeral and posterior circumflex humeral. Now let us see these branches. Okay. So this is the first thing, superior thoracic artery. The very first branch we have is superior thoracic artery. It will be so small when you are doing the dissection. Sometimes it may be cut also. Okay. Then second part we have two branches, right? That is, this is the thoracoacromial artery and this one is lateral thoracic artery. Thoracoacromial. How many? So many branches it further divides into. APCD, you can remember the branches. Picture is good, that's why I'm trying to name them also. AP, like ABCD, now you pronounce as AP, Andhra Pradesh, APCD. A is acromial branch, P is pectoral branch, C is clavicular branch, and D is a deltoid branch. Okay, these are the further subdivisions of thoracoacromial artery. So this is lateral thoracic artery which is seen along the lateral border of the pectoralis minor muscle. Okay, which goes and supplies the mammary gland. It is very well developed in case of females. Okay. And then third part, what are the branches? The very big branch. Sometimes this artery itself is bigger than axillary artery also. We find variations when we do dissection. Sometimes, not always. Okay, so this is subscapular artery which is running over the subscapularis muscle. Okay, this subscapular artery is giving one branch which is quite big. We call it as thoracodorsal artery. Apart from that, the two other branches we have are anterior circumflex humeral and posterior circumflex humeral. Circumflex, the meaning of the word circumflex is winding and going behind. If it is winding from anterior aspect, you call it as anterior circumflex humeral. If it is winding from behind, you call it as posterior circumflex humeral. Obviously, they anastomose. Anterior and posterior will anastomose almost at the level of surgical neck of the humerus. Again, you can just clinically correlate it. Suppose if the person is falling on outstretched hand and if there is any fracture at the surgical neck of the humerus, these blood vessels may get cut and because of which the healing may be delayed and may lead to the necrosis of bone. Okay. Now let us talk about the very first branch from the first part of the axillary artery. What is the name? It has superior thoracic artery. Very small branch arising from the first part. It arises near the subclavius muscle. It runs like this, downwards, forwards and medially between two pectoral muscles, that is pectoralis major and minor. And of course, as the names suggest, it is in the thoracic region supplying these two major muscles, the pectoralis major and minor muscles. Okay. Second part is behind the pectoralis minor. How many branches it gives? Thoracoacromial is one branch, lateral thoracic is one more branch. Let us go into the details of thoracoacromial artery. It pierces the clavipectoral fascia. I told you many times when we were doing the relations of axillary artery also. So it gives one pectoral branch supplying the pectoral muscles. It gives acromial branch going towards the acromion process and it forms anastomosis there. That also we will study today. It goes towards the clavicle, giving the clavicular branch. It goes towards the deltoid muscle, that is the deltoid branch. Okay, the deltoid branch is actually seen in the deltopectoral groove. That is the groove between the deltoid and pectoralis major muscle. Okay, then second branch coming from the second part of axillary artery is lateral thoracic artery, which is running at the lower border of pectoralis minor muscle. Occasionally we may have, sometimes not always, Third branch also, that is alar thoracic artery, which supplies anterior group of cervical lymph nodes. So that is about lateral thoracic artery. Now let us see in the true dissected body how this lateral thoracic artery looks, isn't it? So this is the lateral thoracic artery. Here pectoralis minor has been cut, because of which you are unable to see. This lateral thoracic artery is accompanied by one nerve also, that is, they look similar only color for like when you do the dissection in the dissection hall, you will be feeling the structures. If the structures feel hard, cord like, they are named as nerves. The structures are finding empty with a lumen inside, they are generally named as arteries. And the structures which are again lumen, little bigger and bluish in color, those are actually veins. Okay, that's how we differentiate one artery, vein and nerve. Okay, then so this artery, whatever you are finding here, this is our whole thing is axillary artery. From there you are finding lateral thoracic artery. Okay, then it is accompanied by the nerve of same name, that is actually long, sorry, not same, long thoracic nerve. Okay, which innervates which muscle? We know this serratus anterior. This is our long thoracic nerve. If this nerve is damaged, what is the clinical condition we have? Winging of scapula, isn't it? Then next we have third part is the one which is extending from the lower border of the pectoralis minor to the lower border of the teres major. Whatever part of the axillary artery is here, you call it as third part. And how many branches it gives? 3. Okay, so first branch of the third part is subscapular artery. Okay, largest branch. Sometimes it is much bigger than the main artery itself. Okay, runs along the lower border of subscapularis to the inferior angle of scapula. Okay, then it of course anastomoses with the other arteries like lateral thoracic. This I will discuss with the help of pictures when I do anastomosis around scapula. Okay, then in the lower part, you can see it is accompanied by thoracodorsal nerve. Then this is whole thing is like subscapular artery, isn't it? We are continuing subscapular artery only. This is subscapular. So subscapular artery is giving one branch again, which is winding and going behind this branch. So this is called as circumflex scapular artery. Winds around the lateral border of the scapula, appears in infraspinous fossa. That means below the spine of the scapula, this artery is seen. Okay. So this triangular space I will discuss in the next class. It is anyhow a separate lecture. Okay. Now see here. You are finding, see this is this artery is circumflex scapular artery, which is coming as one of the branches coming from the subscapular artery. Okay, which comes and running like, what is this lateral border of the scapula? This is the infraspinous fossa area. Okay, here also we can see. Okay, same artery what you have found here, circumflex scapular artery. Okay. So this is our third part of the axillary artery, lies between the lower border of, this is our lower border of the pectoralis, minor muscle, and inferior border of the teres major muscle, whole thing. Okay. So you can see how this is the lateral thoracic wall. Try to understand the pictures. Pectoralis major has been cut. The pectoralis minor has been lifted. Okay. They are finding certain nerves piercing this, right? Okay, the lateral pectoral nerve. Then you are finding this like third part of the axillary artery. This big branch coming from the third part is the subscapular artery. Its continuation you are finding as thoracodorsal artery. It's one of the branches of the subscapular artery. There is one branch which is going behind, right? What is this? Circumflex scapular artery, which I have shown you like this. This is the circumflex scapula, right? So the cadaver, they look like this. You need to just try to trace them. Okay. Pause the video and try to understand the things. If you are finding it little complicated, nothing to worry. Once you do dissection, everything will be crystal clear. Okay, the second branches, the further branches coming from the third part of the axillary artery are anterior circumflex humeral and posterior circumflex humeral. This is anterior one and this is posterior one. So it is passing around the surgical neck of the humerus and anastomosing with posterior circumflex humeral artery. It gives one ascending branch which runs in the intertubercular sulcus of the humerus bone to supply the humerus bone and also the shoulder joint. Okay. So this particular branch, which your arrow has been shown coming from the third part of the axillary artery, anterior circumflex humeral artery, goes deep to coracobrachialis muscle. Okay. So this is actually deltoid muscle and this is our coracobrachialis muscle. This is biceps brachii muscle. Okay. We're finding it is going deep to the coracobrachialis and shorted up biceps. Okay. Before it is anastomosing with the posterior circumflex humeral. So this one, where arrow has been shown, this is posterior circumflex humeral artery. It is accompanied by axillary nerve. And it runs in the quadrangular space. I will discuss quadrangular space after 2 days next class, nothing to worry. This is the quadrangular space. This we will be discussing in detail. Now you can see here posterior circumflex humeral artery is actually accompanied by axillary nerve. This is having, this space has 4 sides. That's the reason it is called as quadrangular space. Okay, it is coming behind along with axillary nerve. Posterior circumflex humeral artery is coming along with the axillary nerve behind. So this is deltoid muscle. Okay. Now, apart from this, now basically what did we learn? We have seen axillary artery, we have seen branches of axillary artery, we have seen relations of axillary artery. Then we will talk something like scapular anastomosis. These questions like this usually come as short note or very short note. Okay, we generally be like for 3 marks. Okay. So scapular anastomosis, that means nearby arteries, they are all forming a network around the scapula, supplying the scapular muscles. Okay, that's why you call it as scapular anastomosis. It's a collateral anastomosis between the branches of first part of subclavian artery and third part of axillary artery. This is subclavian, this is axillary. Both of them are giving branches and they are forming network around the scapula. That's what is scapular anastomosis. Now let us, you should know the 3 names when you talk about scapular anastomosis. First artery you are getting is transverse cervical artery. Okay. So the transverse cervical artery is one of the branches, this one, okay, is coming from the subclavian thyrocervical trunk. Okay. Then, so after that, you have suprascapular artery. Okay, suprascapular artery and then branches of circumflex scapular artery. So all these 3 arteries, they form a network around the scapula. Okay, so they form scapular anastomosis. So we will see subscapular, supraspinous and infraspinous fossae. Okay, so the branches of arteries you can see here, this is actually the subclavian artery, this is the thyrocervical trunk you are finding. Okay, and then this is the suprascapular artery. Okay, suprascapular artery is taking part in the formation of scapular anastomosis. Okay, then we have circumflex scapular artery. Okay, which is coming from the third part of axillary artery. Okay, then not only that, we will find there are 3 blood vessels which are taking part in the formation of anastomosis around acromion process. So what are the branches we have? We have acromial branch of suprascapular artery. Okay, this is the suprascapular artery coming from the thyrocervical trunk. So we have one acromion branch from there. We have acromial branch coming from the thoracoacromial artery. Okay. So thoracoacromial artery was one of the branches coming from the second part of the axillary artery. APCD branches, I said, acromial branch. Then we have posterior circumflex humeral artery. So that means two axillary artery branches and one subclavian artery branch. These three, they form a network at the acromion process. Okay, that is. So you have this is the anastomosis around the scapula. Okay, and this is the anastomosis around the acromion process. So that finishes axillary artery. Axillary artery is an essay question. Study thoroughly, pause the video, try to read for yourself, and then it will be very easy. Apart from that, we also have a vein. Always arteries are accompanied by veins. So this is our axillary artery, red in color. On medial aspect of it throughout, we have axillary vein. So axillary vein, always you should take in reverse direction because it is venous drainage. So it's a continuation of basilic vein. Can you see this name? Basilic vein. It continues at the lower border of the teres major and at the outer border of the first rib, it continues its journey, the axillary vein, and finally it drains into subclavian vein. Okay, and this axillary vein accompanies on the medial side of axillary artery. So tributaries, whatever branches we have seen, like superior thoracic, acromiothoracic, lateral thoracic, subscapular, anterior circumflex humeral, posterior circumflex humeral. These were the branches what we have studied with axillary artery. Instead of word artery, you have to just change it to axillary vein. Okay. So what will be the names of veins then? Superior thoracic vein, acromiothoracic vein, lateral thoracic vein, isn't it then? Subscapular vein, then anterior and posterior circumflex humeral veins. All these veins will be draining into axillary vein. The axillary vein finally drains into subclavian vein. Okay. So axillary vein is not a content of axillary sheath so that it can easily expand whenever there is increased venous rhythm. Now let us know a few clinical aspects also. The first part of the axillary artery may enlarge. Okay, whenever the blood vessel is enlarging, ballooning out, you call that condition as aneurysm. Okay, it compresses the trunks of brachial plexus, causing pain and anesthesia, that is loss of sensations in the areas of the skin supplied by the affected nerves. Okay, so you are finding here little enlarged axillary artery. Okay, then so spontaneous thrombosis of axillary vein. What is thrombosis? If the blood is clotting inside a blood vessel, you call it as thrombosis. Okay. Inside the axillary vein, if the blood is clotting, occasionally occurs after excessive and unaccustomed movements of the arm at the shoulder joint. I hope you understood. Pause and try to read and in continuation, we also have axillary lymph nodes. I have recorded as 3 separate lectures, axilla, axillary artery, and axillary group of lymph nodes for your convenience so that you don't panic and you listen to this according to your convenience. Thank you.